Today on In Conversation with Rudy Samuel, we are joined by one of the most distinct voices in South Africa, the master of the slow burn and the sharp punchline, the Oliphant in the room, Mr. Dillan Oliphant. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a round of applause as he is here. Mr. Dillan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Multi-award-winning comedian from Eldorado Park, and you've been on like one of the biggest stages, all over. You do so much. You're on PNC, you're on this, you're on that. And for you being here today is really such an honor. So thank you for being here. I've been a fan. I'm not just saying that for the cameras, but I really, really, really just am a fan of your work and some of the people that you are associated with. So thank you so much for being here, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
How you doing, bro? How you doing?
I'm chilled.
Chilled, yeah? So basically, you have one of the driest deliveries in the game. Were you always this quiet, or did comedy just force you to stop shouting?
Man, I've always been quiet. So like when I told my parents I want to do comedy, they were like, no ways. This guy doesn't even talk when he's at home. But I mean, performing and life off stage is not the same.
Yeah.
So come on stage, hey, come alive, but quietly.
And how was that conversation? Because, thinking about your age and the times that you were living in then and telling your parents you want to do stand-up comedy, did they accept it, or were they just like, dude, go to work like the rest of us?
Well, I dropped out of college first and foremost. It was a Rosebank College show. It didn't matter.
Rosebank College in Braamfontein.
It didn't matter at all. So I dropped out of college. So, and my father's a teacher. He was a teacher at the time, and very big on education. So he didn't. It's not what he envisioned for his one and only child. But I got a little bit of success quite early into trying stand-up comedy. So they were like, oh, maybe there is something there for him to work on, for me to work on. So as long as I think if I didn't get a little bit of success in the beginning, it would have been, I would have probably had a day job now. Probably been day job, 3 kids.
Call center.
No wife.
But now that you do have the success, let's be honest, they probably are very, very proud of you.
Yeah, no, they can't. My father can't stop raving about me.
So you've done it.
Yeah.
But let's take us through the writing process. When you write for the roasts and for your own stand-up shows, what's your process like? And do you rehearse in silence, or do you rehearse in front of the mirror, in front of family, your girlfriend? Like, how does it work?
I write on a laptop.
Okay.
So a lot of comics say they don't like writing on laptops, but me, I write on a laptop because then I can delete or erase real quick. But if I write with a pen or whatever, I'll have to scrap the paper sometimes and be like, I'll be very irritated and frustrated with that. So I write with a laptop. Comics say that's crazy to write on a laptop, but it's more efficient for me.
Works for you,
Works for me. And so I sit in a coffee shop and write. Most of the time I sit in a coffee shop and write. I try and write at least 5 times a week.
Oh, wow.
So at least
that's interesting.
every day.
Yeah.
So almost every day. Because writing is like writing is a muscle, man. If you keep working that muscle, it's just gonna get better.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep improving. So I like writing. I think writing is is very big, not the most important, because performing is also
true.
It's just as important as writing. But if you don't write, a comic by the name of David Kibuka.
Yeah, it's very
David
funny.
Kibuka.
The old school guy.
David Kibuka works
from my childhood. Yeah.
He works at the Daily Show now.
Yeah.
Trevor took him with and left me behind.
He left a whole lot of you guys behind.
So David Kibuka works at the Daily Show, and he was the one. Starting comedy was sort of like a mentor to me, and like the guy that helped me and stuff. So he always said to me, if I write all the time, it's like digging for gold. Eventually you will find the gold if you keep. And I just kept doing that, and it wins for me.
True. And who do you rehearse on? Like, do you trust yourself that much that you're like, nah, I'm going to just say this on stage? Or do you have people in your life that you go to that you...
I just trust myself and go say it on stage.
You know yourself. I love that. That's self-confidence.
Well, I give it room for failure. I try and do all types of rooms. So I'm like, let me try this room. If it doesn't work, just go back. That's what the writing is. It's always just a process. Yeah. So I'll go back and fix whatever I did last night that didn't work. It's not like everything I write turns into gold.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's digging. You keep digging. So you will find some not so good things along the way.
True.
But if you don't dig, you won't
even find anything. Yeah.
So you have to keep digging. So what I do is I don't really rehearse. I don't even try it on people. I just go. I try it on the people at the show. I perform a lot. I perform as much as I write.
Oh, that's beautiful. So you really take your craft seriously. Like, you're not just trying to be famous and rich, but it's a passion.
Anybody who knows me, the comics, I think other comics will also tell you, I am obsessed with the craft of stand-up comedy.
That, bro. That's so inspiring, man.
I love performing. That's why I perform at any gig, because I also know that I'm a work in progress.
That's true.
And if I'm a work in progress, then I have to put the work in to progress. Because if you don't put no work in, you're not gonna progress. So I try and perform as much, because I know when I start, my father's, when I told my parents I'm gonna do stand-up comedy, one thing my father said was, he knows that whatever I put my mind to, I can do it. And then I was like, but I didn't even know. I just knew then and there that I love stand-up comedy. That was the thing. So at that moment, I was like, I'm going to go full in, man. Yeah. I'm going to go completely full in. And right now, I'm at the point where I just want to go more. I just want to go hard. I just
never change that mindset. Because, people, when they think they've arrived, or when society shows them and tells them that they've arrived, they sit down, you know what I mean? They sit back. So shout out to you, man. I really appreciate that.
I don't do stand-up for fame, and I don't do it I do it because I genuinely love expressing myself.
Even though you're so soft-spoken.
Yes. It's a great platform to express yourself and share your views on the world. And funny. People are willing to listen to funny people.
True, like me. I love a good laugh, bro.
People love funny people, right? So I keep, so I love stand-up comedy, and that's like my biggest goal in life. It's not my, because some people do stand-up to do something else. Yeah. But no, me, I just want to make a living.
You don't want to act. You don't want to become a full-time actor.
It's not that I don't want to do those things. I'm okay, because I need to work.
He needs to pay the bills.
I'm not going to say no to work, but it's also not that that is my end goal. I'm not doing stand-up to get into something else. Yeah. A lot of guys do stand-up to get into TV and to get into writing and to... I really just want to be one of the greatest stand-up comedians.
In South Africa, definitely.
Yeah.
I think you are.
Thank you, brother.
So what was your first joke? Take us to the beginning. What was the very first joke that worked for you, and do you still use it today?
No, I don't do any of my first jokes that I do today. I think one of my first jokes was when I thought it was on that Trevor Noah Nationwide tour. I used it for that show. And at that time, I'd already been doing stand-up for like 4 years. So it was, I don't play golf. I steal golf.
I mean, because you call it any golf.
Yeah. It was one of those...
Sorry, I'm trying to be professional here, but I'm really holding myself, bro, because you're really funny. No glazing, I'm just being honest. That is so funny, bro. But let's take it back, man. You've been doing this for 10 years now, or 10 years plus, and people only see the good side, working with the big names, the live, PNC, whatever. But I'm sure there were difficult times. What was the hardest time in your journey, and how did you come out of it? I love showing people that side to success, because they think you just arrived there today, you woke up and you decided to be successful, but they don't know that behind the scenes there were difficult moments.
One of the hardest things was for a long time doing comedy, I never had a car. I traveled by taxi.
And walking.
And traveled by taxi. I walked for a very long time. I think at least 8 years into my 8 years of my comedy. I never had a car. And comedy gigs are in the evening.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I also didn't have money to get a taxi. Get a cab or whatever late that night. So one of the hardest things was traveling by taxi, losing things. Because people don't know, that like if you travel by taxi and you are more likely to get robbed.
Yeah.
You are more susceptible to crime. You know what I mean? I've been robbed in pre-taxi rank while people were looking at me, bro. So one of the hardest parts was traveling. When I started comedy, I had won a competition, right? And then people started booking me for gigs. But I also knew that I am not, like I only had maybe, in comedy when they book you, you should do maybe 20 minutes. Each act does 15 to 20. But I probably just had a strong 4 minutes that I used for the competition to win that competition. I won a Nando's comedy competition at Parker's Comedy Club. So I had that, and I knew that I can't ride off of this. So I still have to do open mics like an open micer. I'm still an open micer who gets booked for gigs. And if I want to be doing 20 minutes of killer material, then I have to go to open mics all the time. And because I had to go to open mics all the time, I traveled by taxi all the time. So that was very hard. It was difficult. I remember one time I took the wrong taxi on my way to the gig, bruh. And I'm like, and I asked the lady next to me, "Are we not getting off there?" She's like, "No." And I only had that money.
Yeah,
my father was gonna fetch me from that gig.
Podcast Central, I heard.
I walked, bro. I walked.
Past Emerentia, I think you walked.
Yeah, past the Emerentia to get to open mic where I still struggled and people still didn't like me. I bombed,
Oh, man. Yo, what a story. But that's the beauty of success. Not all of us, succeed at once immediately.
Yeah.
We have to go through trials and tribulations because, those moments bring out the best in you. Because you had a choice at that time. You could have quit it, but you're like, nah, I love what I do. I want to continue. And you still...
I think... to be a stand-up comedian or entertainer in all spheres, you have to have a hint of delusion. You have to believe, because it's almost like no one else believes in your dream more than you believe in your dream. People, you can tell people, I want to perform there and there. They're just like, hey, because being an entertainer is hard, man. And I'm the first entertainer in my whole family. No one else is.
So there's no one to look to.
There's no one to look to. So my family, when I told them, they all like, I remember my mom's friend came to our house and he was like, he's praying for me. I was like, I need prayer now. I was like, are we praying for my success?
Yeah, I hope so. And the prayers did work because look at you.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I always hear comics talk about the society in South Africa. But how do you feel about South African comedy? Is it respected as an art form, or are we still just telling people jokes? Is it like a whole industry now?
I feel like South Africans, the way we consume comedy, so the way South Africans consume comedy is they don't consume it like an American audience. An American audience would just go on and I don't think we have the money actually. We don't have the money to go on a night out. When South African audiences go to comedy, it's a night out.
Oh, they want to drink and...
They want to have a night... No, they're just having... It's like a night out. We plan this night. On Saturday, we're going to go... At the end of a month, we're going for a night out. Whereas I think in America, there's a lot more... People are just like, tonight's comedy, let's let's rock up there at the show. Let's pay for the show and go watch a show. That's why they can have so many gigs. So I think our economy still needs to pick up where our comedy is at, and but we have great audiences. When audiences come out to watch stand-up comedy in South Africa, we have the best audiences. Like they come out and they support.
Yeah.
We also, our audience also, they have like their favorite stand-up comedians.
True.
So they only come, a lot of them only come out to watch their favorite stand-up comedian, which is me, of
you,
course.
of course, and Mpho Popps.
And Mpho Popps. But mostly me.
Yeah, mostly you, of course, yeah. And from theater stages to Comedy Central, what gig made you feel like, I'm him, I've arrived, I'm cooking now?
It's strange because like I've had like great gigs with like fire lineup, and like this is to the public, this is like a moment for me as a comic. But really it's just my biggest days were like those days where I did a gig in town in Joburg CBD. and bro, it was one of my first gigs also. I killed so hard. Like I can still remember how that audience, it was my first even encore. People were screaming for me. It was a low-key gig, but that was the gig that made me feel like, I can actually do this, bro.
Yeah. Ah, beautiful.
And I'd done bigger gigs before that too. But it wasn't, that gig just made me feel like
I'm him.
Yeah. Because I really care about how I do on stage. That's like I'm not a nice person when I'm not doing well on stage. I'm not a nice person when I'm not doing well. Like
you come across as a chilled guy, nice.
I remember my lady at the time when I just started out, she was telling me that like, I ruin the nights out when it
doesn't work out.
When it doesn't work out. I'm like, but this is what I care about.
Not course, you, but the
comedy. I'm out to work, man. So when you have a bad day at work,
obviously you're gonna be down.
You're gonna be down, and you're not gonna. I sulked a lot. I've managed to. I'm managing it now, but I still think about it in my head. Like, I should have done this better if this audience was like this. Sometimes I blame the audience. I know they say don't blame the audience, but sometimes the audience is to blame.
Yeah, they're too cold.
They're too cold, or they don't want to get to me. They don't like me. They just decided they don't like me as soon as I walked on stage.
Yeah.
So I do take a lot. I take it to heart, but
it fuels you. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. But it's also like, hey, I'm gonna go work on this now.
Of course,
something to be.
You have to be humble enough to be able to accept your wrongs and then.
Yeah. Because gigs are not always gonna be. They're not always smooth. They're not always how you want them to be.
Yeah.
And if I had stopped when they were bad, I would have stopped my second open mic.
100%. Yeah. And you mentioned earlier that you in your family you didn't have anyone that's in the entertainment industry and stuff. So then, who are your comedic idols, if I can say, local or international, that really influenced you today?
My goat is Chris Rock.
Yeah, he's funny.
I love Chris Rock, bro. Even starting comedy, Chris Rock was the reason why I wanted to start doing stand-up comedy. I was like, that guy he's amazing, bro. Chris Rock is amazing. Post and pre-slap. Right? It's amazing.
Dillan Noah,
and then Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
Just the work ethic that.
How is he like behind the cameras? I've always just wondered, because I'm a behind the scenes guy, and because you mentioned him, how is he like away from all of this?
I mean, Trevor's a comedy nerd. He's a comedy nerd, kind of like what I am. He loves talking comedy, and he respects the craft of stand-up comedy, and he just wants to keep getting better. So he's a workhorse. one thing about Trevor is a workhorse, and people can't. There's not many. There are not many that can match that work ethic.
Yeah. So his success is merited, basically.
Yeah, his success
No
is
one
definitely
handed to
off
him.
of hard work and skill and ability. No one is like, he did the things to be done,
There
that
we go.
make the pots to be done.
There we go. There we go. So I grew up in Johannesburg. I went to Northcliffe High, and I was surrounded by a lot of colored people. I have a lot of colored friends, and some of my friends are married to colored women. And I've always been intrigued by the culture, and I've always wanted to tell colored stories. I was told by someone that I can't tell colored stories because I'm not a colored, and I understand that and I respect that. Of course, it's a touchy one.
Yeah.
But I've got a colored person here with me, and I wanted to touch on a little bit about a denomination in South Africa that's it's a bit, for lack of a better word, tense with regards to it in its entirety. And how would you describe the colored community to someone who only knows the stereotypes?
I mean, stereotypes only, they're like 5% of the story.
Mm.
Stereotypes is obviously just a glimpse of the story. So, colored people are some of the most welcoming people.
True.
Some of the most welcoming people. I've never been to a colored person's house and felt unwelcome.
Same, yeah.
I've never, even if I don't know these people.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're always offering food. Oh, they love offering
drinks.
food.
And I don't drink, but they will offer you a drink.
They will offer you food and drinks. Like, I'm a big family person. My family, I'm always with my family. So, and like my extended family, my cousins. I'm an only child, so my cousins are like my brothers and sisters.
I've got one sibling, and my cousins, I got 100 cousins. Literally.
Yeah.
And they're like my siblings as well. Here's one as well, they're behind us.
Yeah, so my cousins and my family is, so I'm big on family. My colored family, I'm big on family. I think a lot of colored people are big on family and big on community. And also, there's obviously a lot of trauma and pain in the colored community that we managed to. I think that's why I get my ability to be funny, even if it's even during painful moments. I remember even in the one podcast, I was crying for my mom, and I still lifted my head and made a joke. And I was like, this must be, my mom also had that ability where she could make a joke out of anything and just make a moment lighter, give a moment make a moment, even a joke can even bring brevity to a situation, make you think about the situation differently and make you, so that's why I think colored people, we some of the funniest, and we have some of the funniest comedians.
You guys can roast.
Yeah, we can roast. Oh man, just to have a flow about you. Your flow is your nickname, bro. Your flow is your nickname.
Yeah. And is there pressure to perform as a colored comedian instead of just a comedian who happens to be colored?
There is. I feel like some South African audiences think they can't come to my show because they think I'm just gonna be speaking colored things because I'm a colored, and that's why my accent is my indicator of who I speak to. Even if so, there is a pressure to. It is hard reaching a different audience outside of the colored audience, because I think a lot of people only see me as a colored comedian, not a comedian, and I don't know if it's up to me to change that or up to the people to change their views on that, but I will keep doing me.
Of course, yeah.
And then hopefully South Africa will come around.
Yeah, because you did say you want to diversify. And off camera, you mentioned how working on PNC has enabled you to reach a little bit more of another audience. So maybe in that regard, it can really help you get out of the colored community only and, you know, transcend to other.
Don't get me wrong, I love performing to colored people. Like of course.
Like
I say, they're the funniest, and they laugh.
Yeah.
They laugh loud. They laugh. Colored auntie can laugh like crazy. but I also like performing to everybody. I like it when a room is diverse and I get to perform to every single race, even the white people.
And do you feel like colored voices are still missing from mainstream SA?
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like colored people are, just in general, a marginalized group.
Yes, true.
They are a marginalized group.
But very successful within the community, like Betty McCarthy, Stephen Pinar, Sean Bartlett, yourself.
Colored people are talented.
Quentin Fortune.
We have all the talents in that.
Wait for Nikak.
There are some things that we need to work on, even ourselves as colored people. So to integrate into the larger. But I do think that there are colored voices missing in mainstream media. And we don't get to tell our own stories unless they're Afrikaans and on CakeNet.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true.
That's all we are. Yeah. We only we're like, there's so many different colors. And people also don't know this, but there are a lot of different colored people.
100%.
We're not like all the same.
Not everyone's fair-skinned,
not everyone's fair-skinned. Not everyone is from Cape Town.
Yeah.
Our accents are even different. A Joburg colored accent and a KZN accent. KZN, they don't even speak Afrikaans.
They speak Zulu.
So not all colored people speak Afrikaans.
Yeah.
So I guess we are a bit missing on the mainstream.
So what responsibility do you feel you have with regards to that?
Responsibility. I don't think it's my responsibility, but I do think that I will try my best to reach out to everybody in my comedy, in my art form. But those who come along must come along, and those who don't, so be it. Man.
So be it.
You can only play to the audience that loves you, man.
Yeah, of course.
Whoever loves you will come along.
Yeah. And life has its ups and downs and its difficult moments. Has comedy healed you in any way in your personal life?
Yeah, man. The other day, Man United lost against...
Bro, I cried myself to sleep, bro.
Man United lost against Tottenham.
My wife was like, what's wrong? I just ignored her. And I was like, I don't understand. I didn't sleep that Wednesday, bro.
Yeah.
It was hard. I hate these guys, man. What they've done to me.
Piss me off, bro.
Piss
me off. But yeah, the other day when Man United lost, I watched Modern Family, though.
Yeah, and comedy made you laugh, yeah.
And comedy
healed you.
It made me feel good, man. I love Modern Family, by the way.
And on a more personal note, I know on stage you have your way of being, a soft-spoken, slow guy. But behind the stage, in your personal life with your family and stuff, what type of person are you?
I'm not far from that person that is on stage, actually. Yeah. I mean, I think people could probably tell while watching this podcast that I'm not. So behind, I'm still like just the quiet guy who people tell me I'm so quiet, but my mom always used to say that I'm so quiet, but when I get on stage, she can see the light. She can't explain the light, but she can see the light. And so stage is maybe a bit more what's the name version of me? A heightened version of me, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
A heightened version of me, but I'm pretty much the same on stage and off stage. I'm a very I think with my art form, I'm a very honest person.
Yeah, and consistent if you're the same everywhere.
Yeah. And that way, when I meet people, I don't have to be anything else but myself. I don't need to perform. I can just be
performing. So then, does that make you misunderstood then in society and also in the industry?
I think I'm an introvert. I think a lot of comedians are also introverts, so they're not. Comedians are almost the guys on the sidelines. They weren't the popular guys at school or the people that, we're just the funny guy. And that's so in the industry, comedians are more acceptable to whatever type of person you are. We've got all types of people in the comedy industry. Some people who love the attention, like who's always on. They're always on. You could wake them up 3 o'clock in the morning and they'll tell you a joke or they'll say something funny. And then there's people who just like me, a quiet character.
Yeah.
But all that matters. I think comedians care about is how well you do on that stage. If you don't do good on that stage, we're not that accepting of you.
Yeah.
So you just have to be funny on stage.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So, they're not. Comedy is not a judgment. The only judgment that we have for you is on stage.
True.
Are you funny?
Yeah. So now, obviously, you got to keep getting booked, but you also have to stay authentic and who you are. And you strike me as someone that doesn't really like to flip-flop between their character. So how do you find the balance between staying yourself and also making sure you keep getting booked? Because, we need to get booked. Like you said, you want to work.
Yeah. But I think people book me because I am myself. I don't. So the balance is just being myself. And hopefully the self that I'm being, other people like.
Yeah.
So if being myself is what other people like, then that's how I'm going to get booked. But if I'm being myself and no one likes, then I'll probably have to work on myself. So I just be myself and hopefully people will like that I be myself. And they like these jokes I write and I create on stage or on screen or wherever.
Yeah. And talking about legacy and looking forward, if you weren't as successful as you are today, if you weren't the Dillan Oliphant that we know and love, what would you have been doing if you weren't doing this?
I'd probably be like a journalist.
Yeah.
Still be writing.
For real, you're right.
I'd probably still be writing. I mean, I think I've always just been a writer from school days. I used to write like poems and plays in my church. I used to go to a church, so I would write these comedy plays, funny plays, and then for the youth group, and we'd do the plays together.
Yeah. You still go to church?
No, I don't.
Oh, good. And when you think about your legacy, what would you want it to be? What would you want to be remembered as?
My hatred for Michael Owen.
He's so bland, bro. He talks nonsense,
This is the salt. This is bland. He's as flavorless as salt. Yeah. Well, salt has flavor, but doesn't have bland, there's nothing else about him. Yeah. He says he doesn't like movies.
Yeah, bro.
I was like, what human being doesn't like
movies? What movie have you ever watched? No, I can't name it.
You can't tell me what movie he's ever watched. Like, what does he do with his life?
He's so whack. He just likes his horses. He's into horses.
Yeah, he's into horses, yeah. I want people to remember me as a lover of my craft and someone that made their day just a little bit better.
And do you think comedians can be agents of social change, or should they just make people laugh?
I think both. I think they can make people laugh and they can be agents of social change. The only thing is that it shouldn't be the comedian's responsibility to be the agent of change.
True.
So if this comedian wants to be an agent of change, then
by all means.
Yeah. But I don't think every comedian should be talking about what the world, why free Palestine or whatever. I don't think every comedian should be talking about that. If they don't feel it, they shouldn't feel the pressure to also speak about that. Because some people just got into comedy to make people laugh, and that's fine. Because that's your job.
Yeah.
That's your job first and foremost. We must not forget that part. Comedy is about making people laugh. First and foremost, everything else
we'll see on the other
extra
side. Yeah. And let's take it back to when you were 19 years old. What advice would you give to yourself? In terms of everything, love, work, family, friends, everything.
Yeah. 19-year-old me is I would tell myself just be more present, man. Always looking for the next. I still find myself being like, like I recorded my special at Empress Palace last month. Thank you very
Congratulations.
much. Thank you very much. I recorded it, and not long after, I asked myself, "Now, what am I gonna do next?" I was like, "But my guy, you need to savor
good, yeah.
that you've done what you've done here, you know." So I would tell myself, be more present, whether it's with family, friends, in my career. I must just be there. Because I look back at pictures and I'm like, yo, what a great time that was. What a I remember 19-year-old me was probably on like some jumping castle with my cousins and my cousins' kids. I love that moments. And to this day I still try and recreate those moments because they are the moments I look back on the most fondest. It's not about it's not about like I don't look back on that night I won the award more than I look back on that day me and my cousins were jumping on a jumping castle.
Beautiful, man.
So
that's beautiful.
I think those are so be present with my family and my friends and my loved ones. Because I mean, when you look back, that's gonna be the things that matter the most. And that's the things that matter the most to me.
Wow. And what's next for you, man? More writing, acting, touring, breaking through the European American market, Australian market, maybe?
Hopefully move towards doing comedy outside of South Africa, because I've only been doing comedy inside this country. Yeah,
Namibia.
I must say this country, like it sounds rude at inside South Africa. So hopefully comedy, I get to do comedy outside of South Africa. But I really just want to be successful inside of South Africa.
Like you don't think you're successful in South Africa?
I mean, I don't think I'm
This is your moment. You don't think you're successful, bro?
I do think I am successful.
Give yourself the props and the flowers.
I think I'm successful. But then again, I also think that I don't have the success I deserve yet.
What would make you say, now I have the success I deserve? Please tell me. What else do you want?
When I'm selling out venues without work.
The name works for you.
The name works for me. Without them, I mean, I don't really enjoy having to do all that PR to get people to come to shows. So that would be a big success. When I'm selling out venues that I've never sold out before, I want to sell out big venues. A lot of people must come and see me stand up for the night. And I want to sell out maybe smaller venues for more nights. Yeah, which would be even more preferable over big venues. Because big venues are not like the best places to perform. People always think it's like we did a 8,000 seater in Durban, and we're like, that was amazing. It's not as great as performing to 200 people right here in front of you.
Yeah.
Because comedy is like very nice and intimate. So I feel like people are just far when they're there at the back there. And they're also watching you through a screen.
Yeah, because
I feel bad for the people who buy tickets at the back there. So I really want to sell out more venues. Like I want more people to come out, to come and watch me. And I think that would be like more success for me, to sell out bigger venues.
All right. I wish you that. And please, could you tell the people where they can find you? When's your next show? Where can they buy tickets, just to support you?
When is this coming out?
This is coming out in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time.
So that's going to be like beginning of June.
Oh, beginning of June.
Yeah.
Okay. You can find me on social media at Dillan Oliphant. All around. I'm the first person who got that name on social media, so no one could take it. I didn't have to write the real Dillan Oliphant. You know how people write the real earthquake or the real whatever. No, I am the only Dillan Oliphant on every single platform. I got into Twitter and X or whatever Elon Musk calls that. So it's at Dillan Oliphant. And yeah, you can find where I'll be on my Instagram page, my Facebook page. I'm always telling people what my next moves are on there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was Mr. Dillan Oliphant. Dillan, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for accepting. Shout out to Alison as well for being so kind and gracious on the emails. We had to reschedule. So this really means a lot to me and my craft. Thank you so much. God bless you more and more. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. My name is Rudy Samuel and I'm signing out.